What's up, everybody? J Hat Drummer 1976 here, and we are just 9 days away from Super Bowl 48. And when it comes to the Super Bowl, well, I tell you what, you got two good teams going into this year's Super Bowl. Number one, you got the Denver Broncos. So they're a pretty good team. Peyton Manning is the quarterback of that team, and then on the other hand, you got Tavarius Jackson and the Seattle Seahawks. Oh man, you know what? This could be a good one. This could. I always say it every year. I always say, this Super Bowl is going to be better than last year's Super Bowl, and we always say that. But when it comes to Super Bowls, and I grew up um, in the 80s. I was a kid in the 80s. And I've seen my share of Super Bowls, and especially the ones that had the Bengals here and back there. Um, the first one I didn't get to see. I was still too young. That was the first time they got to play the 49ers. And of course, we're talking Joe Montana and Jerry Rice and all those cats. And on the other side, you had the Bengals, who had Boomer Esiason and Tim Krumrie and all those cats. And they ended up losing that game. They actually had it was a very good game. And the two times they played the 49ers, they always had a good game against them. Of course, the last one, or the first one they had, they lost. They were going for the touchdown. They couldn't get the field goal didn't matter. It was they needed a touchdown, and they got stopped at the line, at like the 1 yard line, which was a very huge stop for the 49ers. They ended up winning that game. The second time around, I got to watch. I was at a friend's house. I got to watch that game, 1988, and that game, the Bengals had the lead. They had a lead, kicked a field goal, and they had a 3-point lead. And I'm thinking, you know, 2 minutes to go, and I was so excited. I was like, we're in the lead, we're in the lead, we got this. And all my friends were going, shut up, dude, it ain't over yet. And in 2 minutes is all Joe Montana needed to get down the field, score a touchdown, and break a a fan's heart really bad, and I'm pretty sure all of Ohio. So yeah, it sucked. But it's not to say I've seen some good Super Bowls and some blowouts. There have been some blowouts, and there's been some good ones. The Giants come to mind. 87, actually, 86, 87, where they played, where they won they won a Super Bowl, and then 91 or 92 or 90, I think it was. They played Buffalo, a game in which I got to watch the first half, and then I had to go to school the next day, and so I couldn't get to watch the second half. And I actually asked my mom. I said, can you tape it? Can you tape the second half for me? And she said, well, I got to find a tape, but we'll see what happens. And she didn't. She didn't tape it, but I did get to watch it on. I did get to watch it on Sports Center the next day, because at that time we had just gotten cable, and it was like 6:30 in the morning, and I woke up and I turned on ESPN, and uh, and they showed the replay of it, and the kick that went wide right, man. I was like the Giants won. And she's like, yeah. She says, I should have let you stay up for it, and I'm like, "Ugh," you know. But that's not to say there's been some blowout games I've watched. One comes to mind. the Chicago Bears in 86, 85, 86, when they took on the New England Patriots. When the Patriots sucked, if you can imagine the New England Patriots sucking, okay, uh, the first year they go to the Super Bowl. In fact, one of the local guys here played for the New England Patriots back in 85, 86, named Garen Veris. And by the way, Garen Veris is actually, I think he's on the I want to say he's on the Tecmo Bowl. I'm not sure which one. I think it's the second one. I think it's the second Tecmo Bowl. I gotta look for it. Or maybe it was on maybe it was on the first one. And yeah, so that game was a blowout because the Bears were just a tough team and they'd only lost one game all season. So there was that one. And then we get into the '90s, which the Dallas Cowboys pretty much ruled football for most of the '90s, except for one season where San Francisco actually won a Super Bowl with Steve Young, who was the backup quarterback to Joe Montana. That was pretty cool. I actually was rooting for 49ers that year. I didn't, Bengals were out of it, so I was like, oh, I'll root for Steve Young. I hope he gets it. And then of course there was John Elway. Speaking of the Broncos, who are in this year's Super Bowl, they he had so many opportunities uh, to win a Super Bowl, and then finally he gets it against the Green Bay Packers, which I thought was really cool. And that was a huge game too. I was actually rooting for Green Bay. I was actually going with Green Bay, and Denver won. So I was like, wow, Denver won. But Green Bay did get a Super Bowl, so that was also a good one as well. Um, and then of course you know we get in the 21st century, which is the Giants. The Giants made it again. The first time around they played Baltimore, and that was a blowout. I mean, the the Giants at that time really didn't have the players yet. I mean, they had Tiki Barber and they had all these others, young quarterback, and they just couldn't go up against the. I mean, it was like I think it was like the second worst uh, uh, blowout in NFL history. Um, And then, of course, the Giants actually won a Super Bowl not too long ago, and that was against New England. New England was undefeated that year. If you can remember, they tied for the Miami Dolphins 72 when they went undefeated, and that was when they would play 16 games. I think it was 16 games or 17. 17, I think, is the Super Bowl. So they were 17-0, and then they tied that with 17-0, and we're trying to go 18-0. And there was the Giants trying to knock them off, and they did. And I mean, it was the catch. There was two catches that I remember the most. The catch where the guy caught it on his head, on his helmet, as he was coming down, and he held on to it, which gave him a first down, and then the catch in the corner, which gave them the go ahead, and they end up winning that game. And so there you go. A little brief history about me and Super Bowls. I mean, I love going to Super Bowl parties. I love going to watching the Super Bowl as well. The halftime shows are pretty cool. I don't know, man. I mean, people talk about the commercials and stuff, and they always bring up the commercials. Did you see this commercial last night? I was like, no. I mean, some will grab you, some will be like, yeah, but most of the, being a kid in the '80s, man, I was a huge fan of the Bud Bowl. I mean, who wasn't? The Bud Bowl was actually cool. I mean, to have these beer bottles going up against one another. You had Bud Light versus Bud, and it was awesome. And and then of course the Bud Bowl just kind of went, just kind of went downhill after that. But I always said, man, you got CGI now these days, man. Why can't you bring back the Bud Bowl? I mean, really, come on, bring back the Bud Bowl. You got CGI. I mean, and most of these commercials, are like, meh. Nike always comes out with one. I think, Budweiser always comes out with one. Bud Light. Now they're having this campaign with Bud Light with the, the whatever thing. I kind of like the Here We Go. The dog. You remember the dog? Here we go. And he'd go get the Bud, and that was pretty cool. But uh, bring back the Bud Bowl, man. I mean, I miss Bud Bowl, and that's kind of one of the reasons why I watched the Super Bowl in the first place. Was like, I didn't care who was playing. It was just like, bring on the Bud Bowl. Being a kid, bring on the beer bottles. See them go at it. But yeah, I digress. Anyway, they so the halftime show. We talk a lot about the commercials, but what about the halftime show? I mean, last year you had Destiny's Child kind of make a kind of like a reunion thing there. That was pretty cool. I was at a bar and actually got to watch that, and it was on a big screen and like a big movie screen, and they had good speakers in there, and there was good sound and everything, and they just rocked it out. Who else did some, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers did a good one. The Black Eyed Peas. I mean, we could go on, but let's get down. I've talked long enough about past Super Bowls. Let's talk about this Super Bowl, Super Bowl 48. Here you got a good game. I don't believe this is going to be a good game, but I am going to make a prediction, and I'm going to pick the Seattle Seahawks by 14 points. So there you go. But when we talk about these two teams, I mean, think about Eli Manning and Tavarius Jackson. I mean, here are two veteran football quarterbacks. You have Peyton. He's won Super Bowl with Indianapolis, and Tavarius Jackson's still looking for that first Super Bowl. Man, he's trying. He's trying to get to. He's with Seattle, and this is Seattle's second time. Hopefully, they can pull it off. I like to see Seattle. They got a lot of grit, and they got a lot of we're the best, and Peyton is he can't he may have the best offense, but we got the best defense, and that's what I like about this matchup. Offense on one team is best offense in Denver, best defense in Seattle. This is the best right here. I mean, Clash of the Titans. Ugh. This is what you want in a football game. I don't think it's going to be high. Depending on what the two defenses do, this could be a high-scoring game on both sides. I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I think it's going to be. It may get into there may be like 3 touchdowns. Maybe 3 touchdowns, maybe 2 touchdowns, something like that. But there's going to be a lot of field goal kicking. Believe that. So there's going to be a lot of punting, and there's going to be a lot of field goals. So everybody's going to get a play in this. This is one of those games where everybody's going to get to play. So you're not going to get cheated, all right? So anyway, if you look at the defense for Seattle, man, I mean, how in the world did they stop the 49ers? I mean, the last play, tip, the other guy catches it in the interception. I think the guy that tipped it, Sean Williams, I think his name is, and he got a little crazy after that NFC title game, because he was telling people like I guess he was hearing from the San Francisco players that Seattle ain't nothing and all this, and I guess Sean Williams kind of took it, the wrong way, and he was, and then the one scene that everybody sees is where the 49ers player grabs, I think it was Sean Williams, and goes, yeah, like that, like you ain't nothing, you got lucky, not even, so. But then they interviewed him afterwards, and I thought that was fun. I thought that was pretty cool. Um, you know, and the lady that interviewed him, I was like, yeah, let's talk to him after he's full of adrenaline and he's going to be able to say whatever he wants. You know, you better have your finger on that edit button. You know what I mean? Or the cough button or whatever. Um, yeah, it was pretty funny. Pretty funny. I was laughing my butt off when he started, doing because it sounded a little like like WWE. It was like he was pointing his finger and he was just like and we're the best and you ain't nothing and da 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 and don't come here talking about this. And I was just laughing my butt off. I was just thinking, yeah, talk to him when he's full of adrenaline and full of piss and vinegar. Yeah, let's talk to him. Don't talk to the quarterback who, you know, I mean, 9 times out of 10, when you want to talk to a guy who's like full of adrenaline and stuff, you don't know what the hell this guy's going to say. You know, I remember when they talked to who was it with the Dallas Cowboys back in the '90s, Leon Lett, I think his name was, and they won the title, and he, not normally they you know they try to tell him, keep it clean. Leon Lett was a little blue that day, after they won the NFC title, and he said the S word, and I was laughing my butt off. I was like, oh, he was like, oh, they let him say it. That's hilarious. This is before they had like the 3 second delay or whatever it is. I don't know. Before that, and now it's like now they have the 3 second delay so they can like you know edit, oh, he said that. Yeah, but on the other side we got Denver, and Denver's got a good, oh my goodness, Peyton Manning, and they were able to get past the New England Patriots, and I'm sitting there going, I'd like to see, because I was actually rooting for Denver and San Francisco, like have this old school kind of meet because they actually met before when you had Joe Montana versus John Elway, and that was, and then of course the 49ers won that one, but yeah, it was yeah, but you got Peyton Manning, who's got the the stats. He's got the he's got an offense that just won't quit, and you got Seattle that's got a defense that just won't quit. So it's like a one mistake and you're done. I look for this to be a very clean game. I think an interception, a fumble. I'm going to say an interception, and a fumble will either way, a fumble or interception will will pretty much tell you who's going to win this ball game. So there you go. But anyway, I've chatted long enough. I just want to give you guys a little taste of some history of the Super Bowl from my point of view, and I'm going with Seattle, 2 touchdowns. So there you go. J Hat Drummer 1976. You guys have a great weekend. Have a great weekend. Get ready for the Super Bowl. If you're having a Super Bowl party, party it up, man. Party it up. Leave a comment down there. Leave a comment or who you think is going to win the Super Bowl. Really like to hear from you guys. J Hat Drummer 1976. I'll see you later.